All right, before we start, would love for everyone to just put a one in the chat, just the number one in the chat, so I can make sure that you can hear me, see me, and see the screen. All right, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so it looks like we are good to go. Well, welcome to another NJ Thrive Small Business webinar. I haven't been here in a couple of weeks, so this is a little bit of deja vu. So as you know, these are weekly webinars created to help New Jersey small businesses start, grow, and thrive. I'm your host, Christian Pichardo. I am NJSBDC Program Coordinator and Marketing Consultant, as well as CEO at Niluma Media. I'd like to welcome a special guest because today is a very special event. We have our NJSBDC CEO and State Director, Kelly Brosna. She's going to say a few words about what we're really celebrating today and what's this all about. Kelly, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm trying to click
All
on, there
right.
we go. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you all for being here. We're super, super excited about, in particular, this webinar. And the reason why we're super excited about this is because we are here to help celebrate one of our biggest partners and our biggest supporters, SBA. SBA has been around for 70 years. Who would have thunk that? NJSBDC has been part of this program as one of the original pilot programs for over 45 years. So we are so, so happy to be here to help celebrate 70 years of success, 70 years of working together, and 70 years of putting the much needed resources that businesses really do need to help them start, grow, survive, thrive, and potentially exit, which is not always necessarily a bad thing. So I am super excited to be here. Thank you for all being here. Thank you, SBA. Thank you for John Blackstock, who is our district director, who is our partner in this, and enjoy today's resource allocation resources that are available. And again, thank you for all be part of this, and know that we will be here for the long haul for all businesses. 70 years from now. So let's see 70 more years that we have to put into this. So again, enjoy the day. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of great resources. We have amazing speakers, and you're in great hands with Christian leading the show. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kelly. So yeah, big announcement, 70 years, a long time of helping small businesses, right? So yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. So first off, if you don't know who we are, we're the New Jersey Small Business Development Centers Network. Again, we're a statewide program. We're powered by the SBA for the last 45 years. And of course, other state partners, which help us help you with three things. So that's no cost small business consulting, training and events starting at $0, just like this one, and exclusive small business resources. So for today's agenda, we go over a couple of headlines. Then we jump into the presentation, and towards the end, we'll have a short Q&A section. So just to go over some of the headlines, of course, first one, SBA marks the 70th anniversary. So this is a nationwide celebration, of course. But today we have the NJ director presenting. So you're going to hear a lot about New Jersey specific SBA resources, and as well as federal ones. So that is headline number one. Now, headline number two is the president has launched a small business loan program improvements to expand access to capital. And that starts not technically today, but that was 2 days ago. So basically, again, just more research for you. I believe John is going to speak a little bit more about that as well. The third one here is called Innovating Together. So this is actually in partnership with the I-Core program over at Rutgers and with the NSF. So what this is basically if you're an entrepreneur, or even if you don't have a business just yet, but you have an invention, you're an innovator. You've created something that you'd like to eventually commercialize. Well, there's a route for you via SBIR and STTR grants. The I-Core program is just one program which supports how to business development, basically, customer discovery, basically setting the foundations of creating your product. So this is going to be exciting because we're part of it because of our NJSBDC tech team, which also helps bring your innovations to life. So if you're interested, there's a link. We're going to put them all in the chat, and then you can register for this event. Now, the last one here is the NJEDA has approved 4 additional qualified venture capital firms for the New Jersey Innovation Evergreen Fund. So these venture capital firms, as well as 3 that were approved by the board in May, are eligible to access up to $12.5 million annually per investor from the NJIEF to co-invest in innovative, high-growth New Jersey-based businesses. So that's the key for you. So you might want to read up on this article and tap into any resources that you can, really. And if you need any help, again, NJSBDC is here to support you. We are in partnership with the NJEDA. So we have our contacts there that could potentially help you too. So that is all for the headlines for today. Again, we're going to put them into the chat so you can click on them later after this webinar and read up on some of these great resources. Now, before we jump into the webinar, just 2 things to keep in mind. Please type in your questions into the Q&A box. So I know you probably see the chat area, but the Q&A box will help keep all the questions specifically in order and organized in one area. Sometimes your message might get lost with so many messages inside the chat. So that would be extremely helpful for us. And then number 2 is please complete the 3-minute survey that's after this webinar, and then you'll receive the webinar resources such as the slides of our presenter and as well the recording. So again, it just takes 3 minutes. I've literally timed myself. So that's all for the rules. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome the myth, the man, the legend, John Blackstock, the SBA NJ District Director for today's event. How are you, John?
I'm great. Thanks, Christian. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. It's good seeing Kelly, hearing her, the collaboration that we've done. The SBA, yes, we are celebrating 70 years. That's pretty much this year. And then we've worked with the SBDC for over 45 years. I mean, we have got such a vibrant history, and Kelly nailed it. Let's see, 70 more. So I am the director for the New Jersey Small Business Administration. We are headquartered out of Newark. Most of our folks are available to you. If you have questions, please, like Christian said, put it in the Q&A. If there's specific questions for the SBA, I will get those, and I will make sure that our folks who are aligned to whatever question you have provide you with the answer that will help you get to your next step. So the SBA, in New Jersey, we've got, 10 million people here in New Jersey, about 2 million small businesses. So what we do is we want to make sure that the business owners and entrepreneurs, they know that the resources SBA have are available to them. So a lot of these resources people don't know about. Just recently, I saw the SBA had a national advertisement. It was out of Chicago, Kerwin's, small business owner. So that's the first time I've seen some sort of advertising on the national scale. Most of our information is shared word of mouth. What we do is we help small businesses start their business, grow, expand, and sometimes recover during, aftermaths of disasters. I like to say the Resource Partner Network makes it possible for the SBA to do what our mission and charter is. So we've got 4 strategic resource partners. They are approved and funded by the SBA. In totality, there's over 1,400 offices nationwide. So if you're on this call and you might be moving to another state, the resources that I discussed today are available in all the states. And if you have a specific question, if you know you've got a friend or a cousin in another state, just take a screenshot. They can go to sba.gov/local assistance. You pop in a zip code or a state, it'll take you to the closest SBA, and then you can see the resource partners there. I like to think of our resource partners as options for you. And there's not one SBA employee that will tell you the best partner for you. That's up to you to decide. But what we do is provide you with, an invitation to interview with all of them, make an appointment. So one of the first strategic resource partners we have is SCORE. It is a collection of mostly retired executives that have got a lot of experience in business. And it could be any kind of business. For example, you might have an expert that knows how to make shoes, or he is in apparel, or she is in the toy company. They're experts, they're mentors. And what they do is provide advice to entrepreneurs or business owners on problems that they've had and they've solved. So when someone calls and says, hey, I need help, I'm thinking about going into this line of business, what do you recommend? Well, SCORE is something to consider if you need a mentor. It's free. You go to https://www.score.org, and then find your local chapter, the one closest to you. In New Jersey, we have 7 chapters. They're spread out all across the state, north, south, east, and west. Gene Wolfe, and fantastic chair, he heads up the entire New Jersey SCORE outfit, and he's got some great volunteers. Again, these are all volunteers. These folks do not get paid. So what they do is they are giving of themselves, and it is an incredible asset. The mentors that I've met, they want nothing but for you to succeed. Again, score.org. SBDC, this is Kelly and her entire network, Small Business Development Center. So these are funded by the federal government, and they also get funding by the state. So Kelly's got several, bosses, not bosses, but partners that have goals. And most of the time our goals kind of coincide. But so what the network for the SBDC provides are locations where entrepreneurs can go and talk to a consultant and get business advice, take classes on, maybe you don't have a business plan, but one of the consultants can help you understand what a business plan is and why you need one. You might have issues on social media. Maybe you don't know how to get your brand out there. You might want to sign up for a class. They're low-cost training. Usually, if there is a fee, it's the lowest that they can charge. It's for the licensing and for the consultants to provide this service for you. You can find them at https://NJSBDC.com. You can take a look. There's a map. Find one closest to where your location is, and then either call or online, make an appointment for one of their consultants. The next one we have, the next resource partner, is the Women's Business Centers. So in the state of New Jersey, we have 2. We're kind of lucky to have 2. Ray Lamboy is a director for Laeta. It's down in Camden. And then we've got Rana, and she heads the Women's Business Center up in Chatham. And they, like the other resource partners, can help you with your business plans, and Business 101 provides training, counseling, and business advice. Those are the ways to reach Ray and Rana via email. Send them an email, let them know you're interested in seeing what resources they have for you. Set up an appointment and go see them. Finally, if you're a veteran, we have the Veterans Business Outreach Center. We have one that covers our region 2. For the SBA, region 2 is New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. Actually headquartered out of the McNulty Center in New York. It's led by Amy Amoroso and Kathy Caruso, and they provide counseling, transition assistance, and advice training on how to start or grow your business. All of the resource partners can help you with business plans, with counseling. So it's up to you to figure out what works for you. I've known some clients that have multiple resource partners. They have SBDC and they have SCORE, or maybe VBOC, or SBDC and the Women's Business Center. They're available to you. Easiest way to reach them is online to make an appointment. I know a lot of our resource partners are meeting in person. During the pandemic, they were doing a lot of the virtual just to keep everybody safe. But a lot of the agencies, a lot of the centers are open now, and they want to provide services to you in person. SBA, so we do several things. We have 4 pillars, and one of our pillars is federal contracting. When you consider that the US government is the largest customer buying goods and services in the world, that number is actually not right. It's closer to $700 billion spent annually. And we have contracting programs that are mandated by Congress to provide set-asides for small business owners. We have actually 4 programs. You have to be eligible. I'll go over those here shortly. But if you want more information, the website that provides some information for you is www.certify@sba.gov. A lot of folks will call our office and just ask questions, am I eligible? You can find out for the 8A program at certify@sba.gov, but let me see more right here. Here we go. So the federal contracting opportunities that we've got 4 avenues or 4 swim lanes. So of that $690 billion, 23% of that budget set aside, Congress sets it aside for contracting dollars to be awarded to small businesses. It levels the playing field. So you're not competing with the Fortune 500s, the Boeings, the huge companies that get these lucrative contracts. You are competing against other small businesses. So the first lane we have is the 8A Business Development Program. So that website for more information on that is www.certify.sba.gov. That program, to be eligible, you've got to be a minority. There's no getting around it. I will tell you that applications for this program, they're on pause right now. There is some litigation that's happening right now. And a court has determined that the program itself has some issues for qualifying. So we're taking applications, but we're not processing those applications until the litigation's over. The second avenue is the historically underutilized business zones. So if you want more information on that, connect.sba.gov. Every state has hub zones. So if you think maybe you live near maybe a federal installation or a military installation, and for whatever reason, it's no longer there. It was on the base realignment committee, the blacklist, and they shut it down. And what happens is when that base shuts down, they have an infrastructure in place that is a vacuum. So the economy just kind of gets paused. The idea of the hub zone is to encourage businesses to create shop there and hire, locals that live in that area to qualify for this program. So if you have a construction company or any company that sells products to the federal government. Could be paper products for the copiers, could be toner, could be pens, could be medical supplies to the VA, could be janitorial services if you're going to clean offices. If you want to set up your business in a hub zone, you can take advantage of these you can get this certification, and that's the only qualifier you need. You don't need to be a minority. You don't need to be a woman-owned. You don't need to be a service-disabled vet. You just say, I'm starting my business in a historically unutilized business zone. The third lane we have is the women-owned small business. We call it WASB. If you want information on this, go to wasb.certified.sba.gov. You have to be 51% owned by a woman to get this certification, and you are then eligible to compete on federal contracts. So the last one we have is a service-disabled veteran-owned program. You could be a veteran or you could be a service-disabled vet. To get it, take advantage of the federal contracting program, you've got to receive compensation and pension from the Department of VA. If you get the service-disabled veteran-owned certification, you can do business with all of the federal agencies. If you are a veteran-owned certified, you can only do contracting with the Department of the VA. So if you get money from the VA for service-connected disability, I encourage you to go to veterans.certify.sba.gov, fill out that application, and get that certification. The 23% of the federal government, the budget, it breaks down to service-disabled, women-owned, historically underutilized. Service-disabled, you get 3% of that budget. Women-owned, 5%. The hub zones are 5%. And the 8A just increased to, I believe it's 11% of the budget. So it's quite a bit of money. And I will say that of these categories, the women-owned small businesses, they always leave money on the table. We have a hard time reaching that 5% of the set aside. So if you know a woman-owned business that has a product or deliverable or service that the federal government is interested in procuring, please have a reach out to us or go to wasb.certified.sba.gov. So if you know anything about procurement or contracting, the federal government, I like to think of the federal government as the big leagues, major leagues. The states and the local municipalities, they all have procurement officers. They all hire contractors to provide services and goods. Small municipalities in New Jersey, they might hire someone to paint local offices. That's contracting, but that's at a really small micro level. So there's a lot of experience that folks can gain by doing contracting at the local and the state level. So New Jersey, there's a lot of state opportunities there too. Local, state, they might have pavers, pave roads, might do some maintenance on some other state buildings. So there's tons of opportunities at the state level. If you get into the federal level of contracting, just understand that it's very competitive and it's pretty much a zero-sum game. So if you do get a contract, you are eligible and you apply and you are found fit for one of those 4 programs, and say you win a contract. You've got to fulfill that contract in its totality. If you don't, your scorecard will be reflected and you'll get a black eye. And the chances of overcoming that at the federal level, very, very hard. So I like to think it's the major leagues. Sometimes you go back down to work with the state or the local municipalities. Very complex. Who can help you with federal contracting? We used to have PTACs. Other states, they might still be called PTACs, Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. Ours changed its name. They're now known as the Apex Accelerator. They're still at the NJIT location. Pretty much the only thing that changed is the name. Haley Park is a director. Her email is right there. It's hyeri.park@njit.edu. Send her an email. Let her know you're interested. There's a website, njit.edu. It'll say PTAC, now known Apex Accelerator. They have classes that can help you understand the complexities of federal contracting. They can help you get registered and know who your customers are. A lot of folks call me and say, who do I sell my product to? Excuse me. It's important to know what federal agency is going to buy whatever it is you have to sell. Not all agencies are interested in certain products. You know, if you had like a very specific niche product that maybe Health and Human Services are looking for, it might be your only agency to sell to. So please get in touch with Apex Accelerators, take some classes. The research partners can provide you with some training too. I know the SBDC has learning labs for federal contracting. So reach out to our resource partners, take emails, and find out what works best for you. Another pillar of the SBA, so we talked about federal contracting. Another pillar is access to capital or getting a loan. So the SBA, we're not direct lenders, but we do have about 4,400 banks across the United States that are in the network. And what they do is they work with the SBA. The SBA provides the guarantees on a lot of these loans. And Christian did bring up August 1st, the Biden-Harris administration just kind of made it easier and it removed some of the restrictions, not restrictions, but some of the paperwork requirements to make it easier for folks to access capital. And I'll go into some of our products here. And so how can we help you? Well, they're backed by the SBA. So even though the SBA is not a direct lender, the banks like the SBA because they provide a guarantee. Most of the guarantees, you know, they start out at 50%, but 7A, there's 75 and 85% of that loan, they're backed by the SBA. So it removes a lot of the risk that the lenders have. So if you walk into, you know, just grab your briefcase, go to a bank and say, hey, I'm going to start my business. I'm interested in a business loan. They're going to want to see a few things from you. They're going to want to see a business plan. They want to see some tax returns, and they want to know what it is you need money for. There's a lot of risk involved with that. You know, if you need a loan for $100,000, that bank is on the hook for that amount with minus whatever you put down, you know, usually 10, 15, 20% of that loan. So you put $20,000 down that bank, the risk is $80,000. Well, you bring the SBA, if you get an SBA loan, the SBA is guaranteeing that loan. So in the event you do default, the lender is not going to be out that entire amount. So he or she's going to get some money guaranteed from the SBA. There's private investors, there's research and development awarded funds. We'll talk a little bit about that, the SBIR and the STTR. And I know the iTechnology Christian talked about in one of his points. He's going to put it in chat. That's another SBIR, Small Business Innovative Research channel. These are grants. They come in phases, very competitive. And then lastly, the SBA. If you're getting into contracting, you know, SBA has got very good rates on the surety bonds. So if you do any work on any federal installation or federal building, you need to be licensed and bonded. And the surety bond program from the SBA, highly competitive. You can go out in the town and find folks, but the SBA has folks that are licensed and work with the SBA to provide you with surety bonds. So how can a SBA-backed loan help you? Well, like what our moniker is, it helps you start, launch, grow, or repair your business. You can get a line of credit. A lot of the lenders will talk to you when you go in and, listen to your lenders. They have been doing this for quite some time. And, a lot of times folks say, look, I need this amount. And when you really get into the weeds of it, you might not need that total amount. You might need a portion of that. You might need a line of credit. A good banker is going to sit there and give you some options. But you can use the loans to buy, to renovate, or expand your operations. You can buy equipment. You can buy real estate. If you're into exporting your product and service, we also have export loans. And the maximum on an export loan is $5.5 million. The other loans are maximum of $5 million as well. So when you start talking about getting a loan, whether it be putting on, your suit, your dress, and your briefcase, and you march down to the local bank, or you use one of our lenders, or if you use the SBA online lender match tool, the lenders, when they talk to you, the first impressions are lasting. That's very true. If you go to a lender and you say, I need to borrow some money, and they say, okay, well, please tell me, show me your business plan. Let me see your profit and loss statements. What are your projections? If you sit there with a deer in the headlight look, they won't like that. They won't forget that. But that increases the risk for the lender. So the resource partners, what we want to do, and you are key to this. The resource partners alone can't do this for you. You've got to really get in here and play ball. Use our resource partners to help you get to where you're going to go. But it's you that are driving the vessel or the vehicle. Resource partners can help you with your business plan, basically your company's resume, help you figure out your expense sheets and your statements and your projections. A lender's going to want to see that. The more information you have, telling this lender that this is what you're doing, this is your competition, this is how much it's going to cost you, this is your projections, how much you plan on making, the more information you provide that lender, the easier it's going to be for him or her to say yes. I talked about Lender Match. This is an online tool. It actually came out before the pandemic. But what was great about this was during the pandemic, it was so easy for folks to look at this. I will say that during the pandemic, we had a lot of issues. There weren't a lot of startups during the pandemic. We had the Paycheck Protection Program. We had the economic injury disaster loans. We had a couple derivatives of the economic injury disaster loans. But prior to the pandemic, the SBA realized that businesses, they're working in their business most of the time. They're not working on their business. So they created an online application that I did it. It took 7 minutes for me to do it. I did not hit submit because I don't need a business loan. But you go to Lender Match, and I believe it's right there, sba.gov/Lender Match online portal. Go to that website, describe your needs, tell them a little bit about your business, where it's located. And when you hit submit, I wouldn't do this until you have a business plan and you have your projections and your financial data, your tax records ready to go. Once you have all that information ready, you hit submit. Normally within 48 hours, interested lenders will reach back to you. They'll contact you. So again, I've seen this before many more times than I want to admit. Make sure the phone numbers you put down on your application, make sure the email address you put down, double check, make sure it's correct. They will respond to you normally within 48 hours. And those that respond, they have room or growth in their portfolio. So if you have like a coin operated laundry that you want an SBA loan for, there's a lot of lenders that will provide you with a loan. But if I'm Bank A and I've got 4 coin operated laundry mats, I probably don't have the capacity to add another one in my portfolio. So I might not be a good fit for you, but there might be other lenders in the network, and they'll reach out to you within 48 hours. It's up to you to do the dance with the lenders who respond to you. And you might get one, you might get more than one. And then you make an appointment with them, and that's when you discuss going forward. The conditions are, some banks might have requirements on collateral that others don't. So if you get multiple responses and offers, then you and your team of, your business partners figure out what is the best choice for you. And then when you're ready, you select it, you fill out the paperwork, and you apply for the loan and sign your closing documents. It's pretty easy, a lot of success. Quick story, I had her husband that came into our office before the pandemic, and she was a biochemist, and she had a health product that was a cream to make you look younger. And a big business. I mean, what a huge business. And she needed a $3.5 million loan. And we said, hey, look, go to LenderMatch. The easiest way for you to reach all the lenders in the network. You don't have to go to 5 different banks in the town or the state or wherever you live. Just hit LenderMatch, submit your application. And she got multiple offers. And honestly, I was shocked. But she got multiple offers. And then she and her husband came back and said, well, which one do we take? And nobody in the SBA is qualified to tell you which one is best for you. That's a business decision that you and your partner, or if it's just you got to make that decision. But maybe talk to one of the resource partners and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Does this make sense? Nobody in our network will give you legal advice. We'll just share with you our thoughts, but it's up to you to make a business decision. I talked briefly about the SBIR, that's the Small Business Innovative Research, and there's also another branch of that. It's the Tech Transfer. That's a program. Those are grants. So if you have, maybe you're a scientist, or maybe you've got a solution that, say, NASA or the FBI might need. With artificial intelligence, maybe you're ahead of the bubble and you have information that maybe one of the federal agencies are looking for a solution, but they just don't have the capacity or the resources to solve. So we have this program, very competitive. There's only a few federal agencies that actually participate in this, and they have every month they have their offerings. When they're taking applications, they'll share with you what it is they're looking for. You share with them what you've got. If it's a match, you apply, and then they will make a decision. It comes in phases. Yep. So there's 11 federal agencies participating. Think technology focused. So artificial intelligence, that's a big one right now. Nanomaterials, clean energy. I think of NASA, I think of the FBI looking for maybe some sort of technology that can help them with DNA, finding the bad guys. If you have anything that you think might be remotely close to the SBIR or the tech transfer program, I encourage you to go to www.sbir.gov, connect, and they have weekly seminars. I mean, they've got folks that are in all the sectors, and they collaborate, they share information, and then you can find where the next SBIR webinar is going to be for you. I will tell you that prior to the pandemic, we had the roadshow that stopped in New Jersey. It was an incredible opportunity. We had a lot of the scientists and the folks that were interested in SBIR show up. We had the 11 agencies. They were all on a bus, really a bus. They showed up and they got out and they provided briefings. They talked about the selection process. It was a good event. We're trying to get this back for 2024 to come back to New Jersey. We talked about bonding. So if you are a contractor, federal contractor, just go to surety bonds at sba.gov. There's more information on that. We have a lot of lenders that are qualified to, they get the SBA stamp, and it's a really affordable way. I'm not going to say it's cheaper, but there's some folks out there, some of the contractors, especially like the builders, they get a bonding company. They're very loyal. And it doesn't matter if another bond is available from the SBA at a cheaper rate, the same coverage, they stick with who they're comfortable with. This is an opportunity for you to, if you are a contractor and you do have to have a surety bond, take a look at the SBA rates. It might work for you, it might not, but we offer that for you. So it's another benefit the SBA offers. If you have technology or something that you want to export, we have incredible opportunities. They're not a lot. We don't see a lot of these loans going out, but we do have a team that's available to you. So sba.gov/exporting. You can connect with our team. talk about, what your ideas are, collaboration, and see if you are a candidate. If you have something that you want to export to another country, there's a lot of opportunity in this, and I'd like to see this explode. I know, talking with Kelly Brosna and her network, this is something that we need to do more of. Newark, the ports, it's right there. You've got shipping. It's an opportunity that is missed, and I think we need to exploit more of it. Another opportunity, so we talked about federal contracting, we talked about access to capital and our counseling. That's the third. Our fourth pillar is disasters recovery. So we have, when a disaster happens, think in this area like Hurricane Sandy that happened a while ago. And we don't want another one of those. They say that's a 100-year storm, but things happen, big ones. So when we do have disasters, there's several things that can happen. If it's large like Sandy, the president will declare a disaster. Once that happens, things happen quickly. FEMA and the SBA, they've got teams that are, all they do is disaster. They come on to the scene, they set up shop, and for the SBA, it's a business recovery center, a BRC. FEMA sets up the disaster recovery center. If you have FEMA, like insurance, flood insurance, FEMA will service you. If you don't have their insurance, they're going to kick you over to the SBA, and the SBA will assess your loss. It's got to meet a certain threshold. You got to show the ability to repay the loan. It's a small interest. I think it's like 3.875% loan. You can apply for a disaster loan. If you don't qualify for that loan, then the SBA will send you back to FEMA, and FEMA will give you a very small amount of money just to help you. We think that 25% of businesses don't reopen after a disaster for whatever reason. Could be catastrophic failure, could be depending on the nature of the disaster. What we want to do is help you understand what you can do before a disaster happens. So if you go to sba.gov/prepare, there are some tips and some things for you to consider about taking, doing now, put steps in place. So, when a disaster happens, it's too late. You really can't do much other than evacuate, save your family, but to sit there and try to protect your business, it's not going to happen. So that's what we do. SBA comes on the ground with some of our folks from the disaster team. They will help you fill out applications, take your application, process that, and tell you in a couple of days whether you get the SBA assistance or not. What can you use the SBA money for? If you're a small business owner, you could be renting your home. You're eligible for an SBA loan. Personal property, if your equipment or machinery is flooded or damaged, or maybe it's a fire, maybe a wildfire comes through, or heavy winds, or whatever the natural disaster is, the president can declare a disaster. The SBA administrator can declare. The governor of the state, our governor Murphy, he can declare, and then the SBA will come in and say, yep, it is a governor requested SBA declared disaster. Flooding, like in New York a couple of months ago, they had massive flooding, loss of life. People were living down in basements, and a lot of bars and restaurants, they stored their inventory in the cellars, and a lot of that stuff was damaged. So these disaster loans can help that business owner with that. And active duty, there's a clause in there too. So if you're active duty military, you get some special exemptions as far as the SBA is concerned. That, Christian, is down and dirty. SBA, what it is we do, the four things we do. We are a small but very, very energetic group of people that work at the SBA. We've got lender relations specialists that are aligned to help you and help lenders with loans. We've got 2 business opportunity specialists that are aligned to help folks with federal contracting. And we've got an outstanding resource network partnership with 4 really good partners, not to mention all the chambers of commerce. We've got, tons of opportunity here. So that's my email address right there. If you have questions, if you're in the state of New Jersey, I am happy to respond to you. If you say I'm from Texas, I've got to send you to that district office in Texas. That's just what we do. We don't have walls up, but we want to make sure that New Jersey takes care of New Jerseyans, and other states, their district offices take care of theirs. So, Christian, I'm going to stop sharing and turning it back over to you, okay?
All right. Awesome. So thank you very much, John. Incredibly informative as always. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to dive into the Q&A, and I'd like for you, John, to just stick around if you can for another 10 or so minutes
I'm here.
to see if, yep, awesome. Yeah, just to see if we have any relevant questions. All right, so I have a first question. Artie, he asks, are certifications on hold too? There is no transparency into the status of certifications. I had applied 2 months ago.
So Artie, if
any...
you're still here, just go back and chat. What certification are you talking about? The only certification that's on hold right now is the 8A program. And that's because there's some litigation that's happening. And until that is resolved, we're going to put the 8A, keep it on hold. The WASB, the Hub Zone, and the Service Disabled Vets, at the federal level, those are still happening. If you're talking about a state certification, I can't address that. I recommend you go to your Department of Labor, the NJDOL if you're in New Jersey, or Google Department of Labor for whatever state you're in.
Great, great. Next question here is from Neil. Question is, are all of your programs and financing / grants available to nonprofit organizations?
So during COVID, we did open up like some of our offerings to nonprofits, but now we're back to business as normal. To get an SBA loan, you have to be for profit. And we don't have grants that the SBA is offering ad hoc on a large scale. You can go to grants.gov and search for, you go to the search bar and put in some keywords and see if there's grants, but the SBA is not having any grants like the shuttered venue or, restaurant revitalization. Those are all closed. So we're back to business as normal.
Great, great. And Neil, just to add to that, if you're looking for funding, the NJSBDC again could try to help to find any resources or funding sources, if you will, for your nonprofit. So you never know where you might find something. Okay, so next question here from Manuel. Would you elaborate on sources for export loans as per contacts and federal agencies to talk to about exportation?
Yeah, so the SBA, we've got a international trade office, and their folks, the website, I put it was in the presentation, sba.gov, I believe it's /export. Those folks can chat with you, but the export loans, max of $5.5 million. So quite a bit of money there. Please reach out to us and we can set you up with some folks that can talk to you about export loans.
Great, great. And Manuel, also to add to that, the NJSBDC NJ Thrives webinars, we have something scheduled for international trade, I believe in September. So I just look out for that event. It might be helpful to you. njsbdc.com/events. Rebecca asks, is COVID considered a disaster?
Yes, it was a disaster. So COVID, we had the COVID EIDL, economic injury disaster loans. So in our state, the governor shut down a business. Not only did business owners lose their business, but a lot of them lost their employees. So the federal government came out with the Paycheck Protection Program to help shore businesses back up. And we also had a COVID EIDL loan, COVID economic injury disaster loan, something different than the physical natural disaster EIDL loan. So, but it was considered a disaster, absolutely. And a lot of federal agencies had many offerings. I know Treasury had a lot of programs. SBA had quite a few programs, but the SBA, our COVID, disaster programs have all shut down. So we're trying to get back to normal. We are back to normal, but there's a lot of folks that are still dealing with Paycheck Protection Program with issues, trying to get, yeah. But yes, it was a disaster.
Yeah, it's been a tough journey for everyone, especially from that sort of phase in the country, right? So I believe the employee retention credit program is still running.
Yeah, Treasury, I think, has that.
Yeah.
I know they've got a couple issues. Obviously, unemployment, they're still doing that. I don't know if they're still doing it for COVID, but I know the employee retention credit, the child tax credit, Treasury is still doing some of those, opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rebecca, if you need maybe some more detailed on other sources that maybe SBA may or may not have, or other government agencies might have, feel free to reach out to NJSBDC. We can get a consultant on a call with you and find out what might be possible. All right, question from Mary. Is the purchase of commercial property allowed with an SBA loan? And what about multifamily properties?
So yes, so this is a two-part question. Can you buy commercial property? Yes. We have 504 loans set up for that. Can you, so the SBA, the 7A program, so there's two big programs here, Mary, 7A and the 504. The 7A program prohibits any funds for being used for like investment property, like apartment complex, single family homes, multi-family investments. Let me double check on that multifamily thing about, Mary, can you send me an email, please? john.blackstock@sba.gov.
Perfect. And by the way,
Okay.
everyone, we put John's email into the chat. I'm just gonna put it one more time here, so you guys could have it. All right. I believe so. Artie just mentioned the woman-owned minority certifications. I believe
That's
that's in
state.
relation to what you mentioned before.
Yeah, so women-owned minority certifications, the state has a program. We've got a woman-owned small business. It's not minority at all, but it's women-owned. That's not on hold. I don't know if the women-owned minority certifications from the state are on hold, but I encourage you to go to New Jersey Department of Labor.
Yeah. So, Artie, I just renewed my small business certification and minority certification with the state. So I don't think they're on hold. But you never know. I would just go ahead and visit. I know that you can apply to multiple certifications at the same time, so it makes it easy. So yeah, I would just check in with the state.
And real quick, for Mary, yes, you can use an SBA loan for multifamily. You can get a 504 loan for that.
Oh, great. Yep, Mary had it. Actually, was the next one. She followed up by saying The commercial property would include a business. With the multifamily property, the rental units would be considered the business. So it's an investment property.
Yeah, so there's issues with investments. I mean, you got to be real careful about how you word it. The 7A program prohibits any funds from being used for an investment property. The 504, I'm running into like a legal question that I would have to consult our legal team with, because it looks like you're trying to use this for an investment property. And the SBA kind of, that's not how they want you to set up your small business. But Mary, please reach out to me via email.
Yeah. So for everyone here, just remember that a lot of these questions, might need a little bit more context or detail as to where you're at right now and what your goal is, so that we could properly, assess your situation and give you the right solutions. All right. So next question here is from Juan. He asks, do you guys have counselors that focus on solar and energy companies? And if so, if I schedule a meeting, do you guys have an office to meet in person?
So we do have opportunities, 504 solar and energy, but if you're focused on either solar and or, green renewable energy, the USDA has got some incredible opportunities. One, I encourage you to visit USDA. If you want to send me an email, I will put you in touch with Jan Riga, one of my counterparts over at USDA. They've got loan products that we can't even touch when it comes to solar or wind or green renewable energy. And I don't know if USDA is doing in-person meetings, but I'm more than happy to connect you with my counterpart, Jan Riga.
One says, awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Next question is from David. What if it's a mixed use multifamily and you use the commercial space?
So the 504 program, the project must be for profit, owner occupied, and located in the US. So I think Dave, take a look at our 504 programs. We have several lenders in the state that do nothing but 504 loans. If you want more, send me an email and I'll connect you with those groups and you can pick and choose what's best for you.
Next question here is from Rebecca. Do your counselors, let me reword it. Do your counselors, I guess, provide help for private, small, independent medical practices?
Yeah, any of the resource partners can provide you with business advice and counseling. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, if you're for profit, you're a business owner, please reach out. So medical practices, and if they don't have the consultants available, they'll tell you, and then they will find someone in the network. If you go to the Small Business Development Center, they'll find, someone who's a consultant who's got information in medical practice. And then, usually it comes to my level, Kelly or someone will say, hey, who do you have over at SCORE? I'll reach out to Gene Wolf and we'll find someone that can provide you with the help. So if the door's shut, it doesn't mean that another one won't open. We collaborate, and there's really no silos here between the resource partners. I see a lot of collaboration, a lot of crosstalk. The bottom line is we want small businesses to succeed.
Absolutely. All right, I have a question from Anonymous. He asks, do you have counselors focused on food business such as beverages to help create a business plan?
Yes.
So, yep.
Absolutely. That's an easy one, anonymous attendee.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
easy.
That's most of our clients probably.
Yeah. I mean, you got a
Food
lot of
business, retail.
success stories there.
Absolutely. So, and creating business plans, we do that every single day. So, Anonymous, if you have not received help, or if anyone here isn't registered with the NJSBDC or has not talked to us from the SBA, these are free resources provided from the government. So, whether nothing is really stopping you, it costs no money. We provide help in most languages. Um, Training is in person or online. You can consult with someone in person or online. There really is no excuse to take advantage of these resources. All right. So Andrea asks, what site do I visit to find state contracts?
State contracts, I would check, if you're in New Jersey, I would go to, actually, I would reach out to the Business Action Center, Don Newman and Anthony Martinez. They do everything New Jersey related. So New Jersey Business Action Center, Google them, reach out to Don Newman or Anthony Martinez. Those are two incredible resources the Business Action Center have, and they can help you with, contracts at the state level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a final question from Cindy. You did provide a lot of information here that I kind of don't want to make public, but basically she was certified as WBE, applied for certification for NYS. She reapplied at some point and was denied. Basically, she's looking for help to appeal the denied verdict with New York, but her company's registered and located in New Jersey.
Yeah, they just reach out to the New Jersey, actually Business Action Center. Don
Yeah,
Newman and Anthony Martinez, those guys are like superheroes. If it's a
yeah,
state certification, they can help you. And, if your business is registered and located in Jersey, I don't know why New York would have anything to do with, that's maybe why you're denied, because
yeah.
maybe you're not in New York. Maybe they said, well, hey, go to Jersey. Cindy, please reach out to the New Jersey Business Action Center or send me an email and I'll connect you. I don't mind it.
Great, great. Yeah, Cindy. So I believe, and don't quote me on this, you might have to Google the correct URL, but I believe it's business.nj.gov. And I believe Don Newman is on chat there to be able to help with any questions. So there is a chat on the actual site, and he will answer your questions on the chat. All right, so we're a little bit over, but those were all the questions. Thank you so much, John, for taking the time to sit with us and talk about the resources at SBA. Always a pleasure to have you. And yeah, any final words?
No, happy 70th to all. SBA, SBDC, we've been around. We're not going anywhere. We want to help you succeed. Send the questions to me via email. There's no windows, there's no walls up. We want to help you get through those windows and through those walls, through those doors. We don't know what we don't know. So until you reach out to us, you might see us at these events. Drop us, come up and meet us. We want to chat with you, exchange business cards. And it's usually networking is where a lot of things actually get accomplished. So Christian and your entire network, thank you for the good work you guys do. I hope to see you at some future events. I know we're collaborating later and we'll see you guys I won't, but some of our folks will see you in Nashville at the SBDC annual meeting. And I look forward to the next time we meet.
Absolutely. Look forward to that as well. So just to close this off for everyone, one of our upcoming webinars is next week. And it's basically just a replay of one of our most popular webinars of the year, really. And that's QuickBooks for Small Business. So if you manage your finances or do your accounting on the software QuickBooks, then this would be perfect for you. And it's sort of just in time for your final quarter reviews to jump into the next year probably. So you might want to jump on this one. And that's pretty much it, everyone. So we are the NJSBDC. We've helped over 15,000 plus small businesses grow with no cost small business consulting, training and events like this one, and exclusive small business resources. Again, if you want to get started, go to the link down below where it says get started, njsbdc.com. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks again to John for sharing all this valuable information. And I hope to see everyone soon. Thank you. Bye.